transformation in Venezuela, we're also looking forward to the great change that will soon be coming to Cuba. Cuba's at the end of the line. They're very much at the end of the line. They have no money, they have no oil, they have a bad philosophy, they have a bad regime that's been bad for a long time. And they used to get the money from Venezuela, they get the oil from Venezuela, but they don't have any money from Venezuela, they don't have any oil, they don't have anything from, people can't even, they land in Cuba, they can't get gasoline to fly out, they have to leave their planes behind. And they want to negotiate, and they are negotiating with Marco and myself and some others. And I would think a deal would be made very easily with Cuba. But for 50 years I've been hearing, as a little boy, I'd be hearing about Cuba. You know, Cuba's a disaster. But I've been hearing so much about Cuba. But Cuba's in its last moments of life, as it was. It'll have a great new life, but it's in its last moments of life the way it is. And but our focus right now is on Iran, and we'll do that. I would say, what will you do? Take about 2 days off, Marco? No, he won't. Maybe an hour. He'll take 1 hour off, and then he'll finish up a deal on Cuba.
I've been going back and forth with a lot of people that don't understand truly the history of Cuba and the Castros, and they've been in power for 66 years. Even though you got Diaz-Canel, that is the president of the country, the Communist Party of Cuba is the one that's running that country, which is Raul Castro and his kids and that whole family lineage. Why does this matter for the United States? It matters for many, many reasons. You got to understand, if you look at Cuban politics and Cuban history since the Castros, who was living in our backyard? It was Russia. Russia put ballistic missiles in Cuba. The Chinese got in there, and they were sitting 90 miles off our coast. So God knows what type of intelligence they were getting on us. Just the proximity and how close they were to our country. Now that doesn't exist because Trump has completely squeezed them out of the world. And this is what a true embargo looks like. And this is why you're seeing the uprising that you're seeing in Cuba right now, where people are to the streets and protesting right now. As you can see on this clip right here, you can see the people out protesting, and let's roll it. You can see there very clearly, there's no power, just complete darkness. Imagine living in that. People don't understand what these people have gone through for 66 years. You know, I'm a first generation American. My parents came here 1979. My mother came. My father came in 1980, the Mariel boat lift. This is going to have a lot of implications also. By Trump controlling our Western Hemisphere, think about what that's going to do for immigration. These people are leaving these countries because they're under dictatorship, they're under communism, they have no hopes, they have no aspirations, so they come to America looking for a better life. But if you can get this ideology out of our Western Hemisphere, that's going to help immigration immensely in this country, because people are not going to want to flee and they're going to want to build their countries. But where we stand now with Cuba is, it's been 66 years of nothing. And sure, we've had a blockade, we had embargoes, but Cuba's been doing business with the rest of the world. Now, by Trump completely cutting them off from the world, that's why Cuba has days, I believe, their days are numbered. You know, we're in this Iran war right now. But I do believe Trump, when he says something, he gets things done, and Cuba's next. Now, what does that look like going forward? I know he's said that Marco Rubio possibly is going to oversee the island. At what capacity is that going to look like? I don't know. I've seen some things out there, him becoming president of Cuba. I don't think that's going to be a possibility. But who is the next regime or next government that's going to step in? Hopefully it's one elected by the people of Cuba. And that, but I would love to see Cuba as a territory of the United States. I've seen some people where they say it should become a part of Florida. That would be interesting, right? You have 11 million people there. I'll tell you this, and I went to Cuba in 2018. Cuba's probably one of the most beautiful islands I've ever been to. The resources there are immense, but these communists have destroyed that island. And Cuba would put the Caribbean out of business if they opened up, and they opened up free markets and privatization of businesses. I think Cuba would be pretty much unbeatable in the Caribbean and in the world as a tourist destination. The people are amazing. The food is amazing. The cigars are unbelievable. Cuba's just such a beautiful place. And I think finally, we have a president that understands that they have Cuba on the ropes, and Marco Rubio being Secretary of State is the key to this whole entire thing, because he understands how these people negotiate, and he's been advising Trump where to give and not to give, and you can't give these people a finger because they'll take your home, they'll take your whole arm. So to all my Cuban people out there, we're close. This is the closest we've ever been, and I think Trump gets the job done. This is the Andy Hernandez Show. We'll be putting out content every week. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and turn on that notification button.